So you need to write a literature review, but you're not exactly sure where to start. Hi, my name is Richard Frank, and in this video, I'm going to take you through 10 simple steps to write a great literature review. So let's go ahead and get started. The first step to writing a great literature review is reading the assignment and making sure you leave enough time to complete it. Professors usually assign literature reviews for two main reasons. First, to give students the opportunity to wrap their heads around the current state of knowledge about a specific topic, and two, to actually allow students to potentially make a contribution with their own research to the current state of knowledge. By reading deeply and widely the existing work, that gives students a solid foundation to build on for their own research. The second step to writing a great literature review is to start with a motivating question. Often students will have a general interest about a specific topic within a class, but they're not exactly sure how to narrow that down to start searching for relevant literature. By asking a clear, motivating research question, why did something happen that they care about? Or what is the relationship between two topics in that class? So in classes that I teach on conflict, potentially it could be, why do certain countries have civil wars and others not? Or it could be related more narrowly to that topic. What are the connections between natural resources and civil war? And by having a motivating question, it allows you to actually go and search in a more targeted and focused manner to find articles and books that are more directly related to this one research question that you have. My third tip is that if you're having a difficult time shifting from a general topic to a specific research question, ask for help. It is okay to reach out to your professors, your TAs, your tutors, whatever. They have a lot of experience in these types of assignments, in doing literature reviews in their own research, and often a quick conversation with your professor or tutor will help you try to narrow your focus and to crystallize that one research question that you want to focus on for your research. The fourth stage is to read both widely and strategically. Now that you have your research question, you can actually go and look at the previous research, whether it's from looking at the syllabus in your four-year class about that specific topic and see what the professor has assigned on that specific topic, or through internet searches, through Google Scholar, Web of Science, Scopus, or whatever, that you want to be able to make sure that you haven't missed anything important or influential that's already been done on your topic, but you don't exactly have to read every single work, every single word within those works. You only have a limited amount of time, and the important thing is to read strategically, to try to figure out for each work that you actually look on, what is the audience that the writers are addressing, what is their research question, what argument do they put forward as having the most potential for explaining or answering that research question, and what kind of evidence that they use. So you want to read widely to make sure you have a reasonable grasp of what's been done, but you want to make sure that you're really trying to get the most important parts out of the literature that you're reading with the scarce time that you actually have. Which leads me to my next tip, number 5, which is to keep good notes. A literature review is in large ways kind of like a pyramid, and your notes are that foundational layer of that pyramid. For each article or each book that I read for my literature reviews, I try to write down specifically those elements that I mentioned before. Who are they talking to? What's the research question? What's the main argument that they're making? What are their expectations in their case studies or data analysis? And what conclusions that they reach? And with that paragraph or two for each one of those works. It makes it a lot easier as you proceed with writing your paper to go back and refer to those notes in order to remind yourself what a particular paper said or how it might relate to the other articles that you read. You might think as you spend all this painful time with some of these particular works that you're going to remember everything that they said that was relevant, but as the number of works that you read grows, it can become more important to differentiate the different works that you read, and notes are a great way to do that. My sixth step is to group different works into themes. So you had a clear research question, and different people will answer it in different ways. For example, for causes of civil conflict, there are several main thematic explanations for the causes of conflict. Are conflicts motivated by greed to take over the state or to separate a particular part of an existing state to create a new one? Is it grievances? Are people unhappy with the decisions the existing governments have made? Or is it potential opportunities for conflict? Is there something about a country that makes it easier to go to start a conflict than in others? So these different themes related to your research question can be a useful way to try to synthesize and to see connections between the different readings that you've done. Which leads me to the next step, step number 7, which is choose 2 to 4 themes that you find particularly interesting or important that you would want to mention and focus on in your paper. There are hundreds of different articles that have been written about conflict. There are hundreds of articles about almost anything at this stage, right? If you ask a general enough question. And so the idea with the literature review is for you to develop the knowledge and to be able to discern what's particularly important or interesting or compelling about different explanations for an outcome that you really care about. And that is the cornerstone on which you will build the rest of your essay. The 8th step is to decide what stands out to you. Out of those 2 to 4 themes, which one do you find is the most important, or where are there gaps in the current state of knowledge? Maybe the pre-existing literature has made some crucial assumption that you find questionable, either about the level of analysis, the actors that the literature is focusing on, or the time period. Is there something missing that you could potentially focus on and show in your literature review is important and an area that future research could usefully address? All right, so you start with a broad amount of literature, you group it into themes, you narrow down your focus to a couple of themes that are important or potentially particularly of interest to you, and then you see which one do you find important, or potentially do different themes actually talk to each other in a way that hasn't been fully appreciated, or is there a gap or an assumption that you find problematic or interesting? And with that, you're in a really good shape for the 9th step, which is to create a paper outline. It's often similar to a traditional essay structure in which you have an introduction in which you state the puzzle or problem or research question that your essay is going to focus on. Why is there war? Why did a particular party win a particular election? And then the themes you're going to be focusing on in the main elements of your paper. You then group those different themes with good section headers to make it easier to read, and then you can, after you've painted that picture of the main theoretical explanations, then you could bring in your voice to the fore and kind of say, this is what I find the most interesting, compelling, problematic about the existing literature, where there are gaps that you think would be important to address, and then that would kind of lead to your conclusion in saying where's our knowledge incomplete about a specific outcome, and what might researchers do to be able to fill the existing gaps. And with that, the last step is to actually write and revise your essay. You have that knowledge now. You have the notes, you have the themes, you have the outcome. Now it is just putting it to paper, which you might have already started to do, and then leaving time to revise. Revising can be difficult, which links me back to the first step, leaving yourself enough time. What really can differentiate amazing literature reviews from average literature reviews is those few extra read-throughs, read it aloud, have someone else look at your paper, put it down for a little bit, and then come back to it. By focusing on writing for clarity and for making sure that it's an engaging essay, it's going to be more fun to read, more convincing to read, and you'll end up with a product that you'd be happy to show other people and can be really useful for you to take the next step in your own research to potentially build on this literature review now that you have that solid body of knowledge. Thank you for your time. Feel free to leave any questions or comments down below, and I hope you have a great day.